Attorney General for the great state of Georgia, Carr, who joined us yesterday to talk about this. His daughter, by the way, is a freshman at UGA. Chris, welcome back.
Well, thanks again for having me. I appreciate it.
You know, you said something yesterday that we did not realize, and that is that Athens, Georgia, the home community for the University of Georgia, is a sanctuary city. We did not realize that until you said that yesterday.
Well, you were talking about predictions. I predicted yesterday that the mayor was also going to engage in word games and pretend that they didn't do what they did back in 2019 and ignored the law. But that's exactly what happened. They had a group of folks that ran as under the socialist ticket, and this is what you get when you elect folks like that. The good news is there is pushback. That doesn't represent the University of Georgia. It doesn't represent the values of the state. There's a great city council member named John Culpepper that's gotten elected to push back. But as I said yesterday, this is no longer political theory. And they loved back in 2019 when it was all in vogue with the elite left to create sanctuary cities and have DAs ignore the laws. But this is what ends up happening, that we have a loss of life.
You know what? We've got a soundbite from 2019 since you just mentioned that. And here's the mayor alluding to they have this special status, whatever you want to call it, because of Donald Trump. Watch.
It is not my intention when elected sheriff to cooperate with those detainers. I see it as the sheriff's responsibility, any law enforcement, to protect and serve the community. If we're, I guess, antagonizing people because they are, underdocumented, then they built that fear in them, and they're not likely to come to us, not only when we need their help, but when they need our help. So that's not something we'll be doing. We won't be doing any type of roundups. We won't be attributing to that culture of fear.
We got our wires crossed. That's the guy who was running for sheriff back in 2020, John Williams, saying he would not cooperate with ICE, which essentially, Mr. Attorney General, is what a sanctuary city is, right?
That's right, and I'm disappointed in that. I couldn't disagree with the sheriff more on that position, and I would encourage him to quickly pivot and change from that policy and instead work with law enforcement. But I know this, that doesn't speak for the law enforcement members that I work with, and I know it does not speak for the sheriffs around the state of Georgia. But you know what, guys, I lay this squarely at the feet of the mayor and those 3 or 4 members that ran under the socialist ticket in Athens, Georgia. They're the ones that chopped the wood, that built the fire and lit the match. They're the ones that created this environment where folks had to felt like they couldn't work with law enforcement, and now they're trying to say it's not them, and that's just flat wrong.
Well, ultimately, the proof is in the pudding. Mr. Attorney General, is Athens, Georgia now working with ICE?
I hope they are. I hope that this uproar and realizing that now that we have literally lost a life, we need to work together. Yeah. That they've changed it. But also, let's not forget, the president of the United States right now can do something at the border. He can right now deport those that have been convicted of crimes and run through the process. Something needs to happen. Congress also has to get back together and put together a bill that makes sense, that will protect all Americans.
Right, exactly. And yesterday, the White House said that perhaps sanctuary cities should start working with ICE. Let's see if anybody listens. Chris, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you all. Appreciate you having me.
That was a great